Manchester City lose their first league game of the season away at Wolverhampton on Saturday. What happened?
Oh, gosh. Disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Given the fact that, Wolves weren't exactly like setting the world alight so far this season.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but then this is the first stage and the consequence of losing someone like a Rodri, not having a Bernardo Silva in there. Before you know it, it's still a very, very good side that are more than capable of winning that game.
Yeah.
But the key players out. I think Grealish was on the bench as well. So I've named 3 players there who were so big towards the end of last season and a few others. And it's a shame because I think, but again, it shows it's the Premier League. The teams you play against and the players you play against are very good. If they're to be well drilled and you were to have an off day, then there's a chance that you might get punished. And obviously the first goal was an own goal. The Ruben Diaz one as such. Great free kick by Havertz.
Yeah, and Neto does great, to be fair.
Neto is like the City killer. Just seeing him just running down the sides full speed. But that's the thing, speed kills in football. And it's a shame because when it went 1-1, I'm sure like many others, you think, well, definitely that's it then. It's going to finish.
Is Rodri really that? I mean, can we say there's a team with him and without him? As in, he's that good now that without him, Kovacic played in his kind of position and he's clearly not the same. And when Kovacic loses the ball for the first goal, because he waits on the ball, he should clearly play the diagonal, doesn't, waits, and then someone touches the ball and then he goes to Neto and then this is it, he's off.
Yeah.
Can we really say that Rodri is that important? Maybe the most important player in that team with Haaland?
But it's in relation as well because I said Bernardo Silva wasn't there as well. You know what I mean? And then you're talking about a Jack Grealish. So then you look out on the field and so you've got Kovacic, you've got Nunes, you've got Doku, I think, as well. So you look at Oscar Bob, people like this. So you're looking at people who for the first time are being significant, have a significant role within the team for City. And this is going in to replace pillars of the side. Yeah. Like Rodri is the pillar of Man City. He's one of the reasons why I say, for example, Calvin Phillips didn't play at all last year. For as much as Calvin Phillips didn't play well overall, well, you didn't get many opportunities because the guy in the middle was the centerpiece to what was the best season that the club had ever had. Yeah. So I think you do miss them, but credit to Wolves, they defended really well. They're exceptionally well. Dawson is from the same place as me, he's been in the Football League and here he is now being fully committed, fully understanding the role. It just goes to show these guys, the guys who play week in, week out, they're very good, Yeah. They're very good, but we're very quick to just dismiss them, unfortunately. But credit to Wolves. I'm sure it's a blow for City. And now it's a dangerous week after losing to Newcastle, losing to Wolves.
2 defeats in a row. I didn't want to say it, but now you...
Leipzig away. Yeah. And then Arsenal away. Wow, I could be burying my head in the sand.
Kai Havertz scores his first goal for the club.
Did you celebrate his first goal?
I thought of him because I know it's just a pen. So some would say...
There's no such thing as just a pen.
Exactly.
Because if you miss it, then it's not just a pen. Carry on. Yes.
I know it's a big Care Bear world things. Let's let him take the pen. Yeah. For him to get through that kind of barrier and score his first goal. I like the fact that teammates would do that. Would you do that?
Yeah. I would do that, yeah. But I think the bigger thing for me wasn't the fact that he took the pen, it's the celebration after the pen. Because every player ran up to him. Yeah. And even though he's getting so much criticism from the outside, it seems like inside they like him. Yeah. And whether a player's out of form or not, if you're liked by your teammates, you'll always have a chance because they'll keep believing in you and they want you to do well. And not everyone's in that same position. Because there are lots of people who aren't playing well who would never get given a penalty. And even if they scored, no one would celebrate with them, but instead they were celebrating together. Yeah,
they were. That was good. But Bournemouth, just before you ask me, Bournemouth are bad, and I'm quite worried about what Iraola is trying to do in that team and
it's funny
where
they're
going to go.
A couple of weeks ago, I was hearing from Bournemouth fans that they think that they're a team that should exist between 12th and 16th, and they just wanted to see attacking football. But it's all fun and games until you're down there in the mix.
Things are not better. However, Nedum for Manchester United. What is going on?
It makes me so sad to see United.
I know it is. That's why I kept this question for you.
Yeah, it's gone from being in a position where there was a lot of hope to all of a sudden being a lot of injuries. And then before you know it, the performances and results aren't there. I think the fact that they won midweek, that was a big boost for them because in theory, they are trying to defend their own title of the Carabao. There was the Champions League game the week before where at times they played well, but in the same breath, it seemed like Bayern was kind of holding them at a distance.
Yeah, I agree.
But now, unfortunately, it seems like there's a bit of a grey cloud over the football club again. And it seems like it's going to be more than just a couple of results going to change that sort of tide. There's a bit of discontent. Some of the booing started to arrive. And Yeah, it's. I'm sure it's tough to see from United fans' standpoint, but most other people, I'm sure they're not doing too bad right now.
No, another question. So they played Crystal Palace back to back, both at Old Trafford. One in the League Cup, which they won, and then this one. On Friday night on the FC show, Stephen Nicol was like, people underestimate how hard it is to play the same team twice back to back.
Yes.
Is this really a thing?
Do you know what? It can be. It certainly can be. But I think what was different between the League Cup and the League game was the fact that they made so many changes for the League Cup. So it's a different look. But then also for United, no, do you know what? It can be tough.
Okay.
It can be tough because as you walk back on the field, it's still so familiar. You remember how you felt not that long ago, and you think you've now got a game plan to go and try and deal with the second game. So whichever team would lose, they would take more confidence going into the next game because they think they know how to stop the other team from winning. So I think it's quite hard to beat the same team twice back to back.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I see your point.
You know what I mean? That's the thing, because Palace would have known that they would have had more to give heading into that second game. Whereas for United, like, they won, they probably thought they were going to do it again.
Nedum is 4 wins and 1 draw in the last 5 for Newcastle in all competitions. Are they at their best, back to their best?
Well, I don't know if they're at their absolute best, but I think that winning feeling is back. And it's far better than that feeling when they were losing a few games and questions were being asked. I think that came just before they travelled to Milan as well. And I think in that Champions League game, they did draw. Yeah. But I didn't consider it to be an impressive performance as such. You know, positive people say, oh, you know, he still got the draw. But realistically, they didn't really show much that in that time. But as you know, this week, they're going to beat PSG. St. James is going to beat them convincingly.
That's why you said, you've gone really early on that.
What do you think?
No, I said PSG 2-1.
2-1, okay. Yeah. I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle, yeah. Ooh. Okay. And if I'm wrong, everyone can, pretend I never said it.
Is it objectively or just because you want to jinx me right here, now?
No. You jinxing your own team by saying they're going to win, really. So don't try and pin that on me. I think they're rounding into some sort of form. Yeah. But then I feel like it could be a fraction artificial as well. But we will see. I'm just not 100% there just yet.
Nedum, can you explain to us, please, how Brighton can explode and lose 6-1 away at Aston Villa on Saturday?
No, I can't. Doesn't add up. Doesn't add up if you've got someone in FPL in your team as defender for Brighton. Doesn't add up if you've got someone from Villa that's on the bench.
What? Only one kid's on your FPL bench? Okay,
never again. Yeah, it doesn't. In some ways, it's a wild result, but then also given how Brighton play, it's also not unexpected. I think given the way that Villa can play as well, especially being at home, I think tactically it can be very, very good and they can create opportunities, especially in a game whereby the other team can be so spread out. If Brighton were a side that were very comfortable in taking like a low block as well, then no, they're not going to lose they're not going to concede 6. But one of the biggest sort of memories I have from this game, aside from all the goals that were scored, were just before the Douglas Luiz scores. Watkins is through 1-on-1 again. Yeah. And that was for his 4th goal. Yeah. And he's beating the ground in frustration. And I don't think he'll ever have a game like that again between now and the end of the season. We'll have that many chances that come from such a quick bit of play and just direct nature. But that's unfortunately the other side of the coin to play in the way that Brighton do, in my opinion. Do
you know what worries me about Brighton a bit? For all the praise that we give the Zerbi, the team, the recruitment, everything, the club, great. There's no middle ground. So it's either they play great and really they play you off the park and are just this team almost impossible to play against. A bit like Old Trafford against United, even if now we see that it was maybe United really being poor than anything else. Or West Ham just wipe the floor with them. Aston Villa wipe the floor with them. I mean, sometimes you don't play well, you win. But it seems to them it's either they play great and they do win, or they really are bad and below par and then they just...
Listen, one thing we'll say, they're definitely a team to just keep an eye on as a neutral, because whichever game they're playing, you're going to be seeing goals either for them or very much for the opposition.
First ever win in the Premier League, Nedum, for Luton Town. Will they stay up? That's the question.
Will they stay up? You're pinning me to this early doors. I don't think they will. Right. But credit is deserved for winning away from home in the Premier League. And even though it's against an Everton side, which people expect to be down there, I think Everton were coming off the back of a win. So
2 in a row, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not convinced that this win doesn't matter. But, there's a way that it could be back down to earth very quickly. But stars have aligned themselves. The next game's a home game. Yeah. And it's against Burnley. Yeah. 2 wins in a row
Tuesday
in the Premier
night.
League. Those 6 points taking you that bit further up the table. Before you know it, you're like right there with Chelsea's and Fulham's and teams like that, which is crazy to say.
As a player, and I've got nothing against Everton, as you know, people know I was on holidays with Seamus Coleman, my boy. I don't want to say it's humiliating for Everton to lose at home to Luton, be the first team ever to lose to Luton in the Premier League.
It is humiliating.
But as a player, would you see a game like that and say, okay, we're going to win? And then if you don't win, if you lose, how do you feel after? And could this humiliation in a way, if we can call it like that, for Everton, could it be like almost sort of like I'm wrecking them in a way?
No, I don't think it'll wreck them just because it came in September. If this was something that came in like March, April time, and it was a 6-pointer to the point where, you know, you need to win to catch up to Luton, all of a sudden Luton had like 6 points clear of you. I think that's a different debate. But I think to be losing at home in a game where everyone in that crowd would expect you to win, everyone from the outside would expect you to win, because no one has any belief in Luton. Like, if you find someone that doesn't support Luton,
it's not far from being wrecked though, what you're describing.
Oh, well, but like nobody has any belief in them, and you as a player, you know you have to go and play them. That's the difference. We talk about them, but we don't have to play them. If we were to go and play against them, we'd probably know a different sort of game. But realistically, like, you'd fancy your chances at home against a team that hadn't won yet in the Premier League, no matter what name that team is. So for you to leave the field, concede 2, and lose like that, and see them celebrating afterwards, it'll affect you. But it's the Premier League, bounce back. It certainly is a thing.
I guess.